Well, as you know, it's another frigid morning out there in Albuquerque and all over New Mexico.
That is to say it lightly. That's not just cold for us, but for our four-legged friends too. Now, we want to make sure your pets make it through this cold spell safely, so we sent News 13's David Romero out to the animal shelter on the city's west side to get us some tips to make sure Fido doesn't end up running away and going there. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Matt. Well, your four-legged friends and your two-legged reporters out here dealing with the cold. And of course, this is the last place where anyone wants a stray animal to end up, especially when they're trying to get in from out of this cold. Now, I spoke with Jim Ludwig from Albuquerque Animal Services, Welfare Services yesterday, and he said that they advise pet owners that dogs and cats should be kept indoors during the really go outside for exercise, but you don't want them to suffer from the wind chill. Now, if your pet has a dog house, you want to make sure it's dry, draft-free shelter for the dog to sit down in. You also want to keep in mind that your pet needs more food during the winter. The cold is exhausting for animals. Make sure that the water is fresh and use plastic food and water bowls because their tongue can stick to that cold metal plate.
It doesn't matter if the pets are covered in fur. It's too cold for anyone to spend nights outdoors.
And of course, if you have your vehicle outside, that usually provides warmth for a dog or a small cat, and you want to make sure that you bang on the hood and kind of give them a warning to get out of there before you start the vehicle. Matt, back to you.
All right, thank you, David. I don't think some of our equipment likes this cold weather either. Appreciate those tips, though. And by the way, here's something else that you need to look out for. Make sure you keep antifreeze away from your pets. It is deadly. Elizabeth?
3 computers are now gone from Montezuma Elementary School, at least from one classroom there. APS removed the computers as part of its investigation after police say they found graphic images of kids in the home of Carrie Gonzalez and her husband, who is the former president of YAFL in New Mexico. The district sent a letter home to parents Monday saying there are no allegations of any of the appropriate photos having involved students at Montezuma, but the investigation does continue. A man at the center of another disturbing child porn sting is out of jail. Right, this man right here, 50-year-old Gaylord Barker, was arrested Monday and charged with 20 counts of felony sexual exploitation of children. The arrest comes after an August investigation with the statewide Internet Crimes Against Children's Task Force that showed Barker, who repairs computers, has a computer inside his home where investigators say had downloaded illegal videos of young children. Police say they found at least 717 files of child pornography on CDs inside his home.
A retired state police officer and his son could be in court at any time today as they are now both charged with murder. Police say Jack McDowell and his son John here killed James Chavez last year. His body was later found in his home in Rio Rancho. Police say that John McDowell, the younger one here, knew Chavez, but they're not saying how.
This is one of those cases that has kind of haunted us. We have put out a number of press releases asking for assistance from the community. It has been a very difficult case because we've had only a few witnesses, and those witnesses have not always been the easiest to get information from.
The older McDowell retired from state police more than 10 years ago. Well, the Albuquerque police officer who made national news by shooting and killing a man and listing his job on Facebook as, quote, human waste disposal can breathe a little easier today. That's because the Police Review Commission has ruled that Officer Trey Economidi here was justified when he shot and killed Jacob Michelin in February of 2011. Well, 3 dozen inmates in Cibola County in a lot of extra trouble right now after doing thousands of dollars in damage in a riot yesterday. The jail says the inmates were not following orders yesterday afternoon. Then look what they did. These pictures we got from the jail. The inmates took it out on toilets, sinks, tables, and chairs. Corrections officers ended up gassing the inmates to get them under control. Well, we have new information now about that 4-year-old little girl who got attacked by a pack of dogs earlier this week.
Yeah, so sad. As she continues to recover, animal welfare officials say that one of the dogs, a husky, could have led the attack and could have been just acting on instinct.
Huskies are known to have a prey drive in them. May have saw the small child as prey, and if it was the one that caused the attack, the others would join in as kind of a natural instinct.
Now, they say the dogs attacked the girl after getting out from under a fence in southwest Albuquerque. 2 men were arrested for prior traffic and animal welfare violations and could face charges in this attack. Investigators seized a total of 7 dogs after it and have not decided what will happen to them just yet. The man accused of abusing his girlfriend's 2-year-old daughter is expected to be in court this afternoon. Diego Gonzalez is facing a 12-count indictment, including child abuse, kidnapping, and aggravated assault charges. Gonzalez was arrested in February of last year. Authorities say he claims he was drunk on whiskey and regrets what happened, but he says he has no memory of the actual attack. Now, the toddler did survive. She did suffer bruising, bite marks, and was struggling to breathe at the time. Some disturbing news here. The body of a missing toddler is found in a West Texas basement. Medical investigators have not caused or released the cause of death, but they say the body of little Lee Marie Aguirre was found Thursday in a box at the home of her caregiver. A woman named Matilda Almaraz is now charged with capital murder. The toddler's mother says she gave the child to this woman last September so that she could go take care of a sick aunt. Well, after Almaraz passed a background check, state caseworkers allowed her to keep the girl. Police say more arrests are possible in this case. The little girl was reported missing January 8th east of the Lubbock area.
In just a few hours, legislators will be back to work at the Roundhouse here in New Mexico for the first full day of this year's legislative session. And it looks like it's going to cost you about $144,000 a day for them to do this. This was the opening yesterday to where a House committee approved a bill for the state to spend a total of $8.6 million for this year's session. It'll go for 60 days. Now, in reality, it'll probably cost less than that. The extra money will go to a rainy day fund. We'll have more on the start of the legislative session coming up in our next half hour. 5:08 now.